So, and I've said this to you guys many times before, MMBC is about waste energy. And waste energy is about getting supply, which is PPP. There's a massive amount of materials that can't be recycled any longer. They're going to have to go to the landfill. A wine bottle with no label on it, garbage. Right now we can use it, reuse it, refill it, not allowed. So, in a nutshell, it seems like we're going backwards. I don't know what we can do about it, but I think being a zero waste community, how on earth can we sign on to a plan that will allow incineration of some of the materials, the residuals, the non-recyclables, and it's a slippery slope, right? And they dole out the money, and they're not wanting to pay. They don't want to pay for the land where these materials are collected. They don't want to pay for that. That's going to be downloaded on the collectors and handlers. So I thought that since we've officially launched this program yesterday, it's important that you understand that as more and more items go into stewardship, we have to make a decision as a community. Are we going to stick with our environmental agenda that we've all paid a lot of money for, sustainability, zero waste, conservation, or are we going to hand over control to outsiders who are going to basically dictate what we're going to do in our community with these discarded materials that we consider, and many of us in British Columbia considers as resources, not as discards. So, in a nutshell, that's my presentation, and if you got any questions, fire away.
Okay, thank you, buddy. Now, MMBC, as I understand it, did say that they were not intending to send anything to incineration.
Get it in writing. I've been trying for 3 years to get it in writing as a policy position. We've offered them the zero waste hierarchy, which is a hierarchy, and Dan will probably understand how this works. It's where the least favorable disposal option is considered. The zero waste hierarchy has been around for several years, and the Recycling Council of British Columbia just officially adopted it. MMBC and the Ministry of the Environment have chose to use something with a hang crank, we call it, the old draconian pollution prevention hierarchy out of the 50s, which has incineration a little higher up the food chain. So it's all well and good that they say that, but get it in writing. We've asked MMBC for 3 years, put it in writing, put your name on it, no incineration ever, and we're still waiting. So, and just to let you know, Wayne, these people in other programs, they've lied before. They've not told the truth. So just to get this thing rolling, they'll say anything from our perspective. So if you can get that in writing, we're on board, but I doubt you're going to get it.
No, that's fine. I just want to make that comment in
Sure.
relation to what you said. You know, I think we all recognize that we have a
situation.
A situation, yes, is probably a good way to put it. We don't know how it's going to ultimately play out. I can't speak for the rest of council, but I can say when I chose to stay with a depot option here, it was with your operation in mind because of the other products that you look after that would not otherwise be looked after. And so that was there. It would be very easy. It wouldn't have been very easy to say, MMBC, you want it? Take it. We're done.
Yep.
Goodbye, buddy. So.
Wouldn't that be great?
So I do want you to know that
we know that.
You know, we take some of this clearly into consideration, and at least I do. And I suspect other members of council, and actually our neighboring regional representatives. So we're cognizant of what you do there. I admire your passion. You have to always keep your passion here and your business here, though. Okay? Because you still have to run a business.
Sure, of course. The banker wants to get paid every month.
That's right. So I don't know how this is all going to play out, and it's we're all waiting to.
Well, if I could just add one thing, Wayne and council, I know you guys have supported our operation, and we're kind of way outside the box, and I think Grips is to a point as well, and Scraps definitely was. And if we don't value these things that we have in our community, and we start replacing with these big city monopoly-controlled entities, then we have to ask ourselves, what kind of communities are we building? Somewhere along the line, just because somebody rides into town with a check, doesn't necessarily mean we have to take it. And if we do take it, let's put the provisos and conditions in place that protect what we already have in our community. Because I know how much money we've spent as taxpayers on sustainability programs and consulting fees in our community. It's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And now that we're on the zero waste path, it's equally as expensive, but it's worth it if we stay in tune with that. You know what I mean, Wayne? It's like there's the business and not-for-profit expenditures, and then there's the taxpayer capital that's invested. And we're investing, we've committed as a community to a certain path. Well, along comes Mr. Slick with his checkbook and some money, and he says, this is the way we're going to do business in your community now. And I'm telling you this right now, that a lot of this MMBC stuff conflicts directly, and a lot of it indirectly, with our current systems we have in place. So if we're going to use the one-legged stool principle, then let's put those cards on the table so that's what we know we're dealing with, instead of the three-leg. I don't see any social or environmental benefit with MMBC. None, zero, zilch. And diversion is going to go down, because so many materials, if you look at the stuff that we handed out to you tonight, like a wine bottle has to go in the garbage, right? Half the plastics now have to go into the garbage that we recycle right now. And the fact that we can't reuse any of this stuff locally, that's insane. So, you know, if that's what they want to do in the big city, great. I moved from there so I don't have to put up with this crap. And I think a lot of people move to our community for the same reason. So we advocated that delay the program until we can get it a little better. They never consulted with one recycler in the entire province, not one. And this is the largest recycling program in BC history. And the thing that's frustrating for a lot of people, this is not a romantic topic, right? So it's really hard to try to make some inroads here, but just do me one favor. If you're looking at stewardship, analyze it. Don't take somebody's word for it. I guarantee you that stuff's going to an incinerator. The contaminated and the non-recyclable stuff is going to an incinerator. They need that material to make the incinerator viable. And the volumes that we're talking about province-wide here are staggering. And the BTU value are high enough that that's the material they need. The newspapers, the contaminated newspapers, the plastics, the non-recyclable plastics. And from anybody that uses common sense to analyze MMBC, it soon becomes clear that this is about control, and it's going to impact our communities in every community in British Columbia. And that's my 10 minutes.
So,
Any other questions?
Any other member of the council want to risk another answer?
Oh, come on! Come on!
Councilor Collins.
Mr. Conservation. Here we go.
I'll tread where a wise person would fear to go. No, I think you're right that the amount of diversion is going to go down,
Yeah.
at least in the short term for sure, because people are frustrated with the new rules and the constraints, and it's not a good thing.
No,
And I haven't been happy with the whole process.
that's good to hear.
Over the last 3 years.
Mhm.
MMBC is always asking us to make some kind of decision for which they're not providing adequate information for us to be comfortable about what we're doing. And I think that's something that most of the elected people on the Sunshine Coast have in common, is this frustration with how they've rolled this out, and how disrespectful they've been.
Incredible.
And, you know, I'm not happy about it.
Well, it's good to hear that, man.
I hear you that you're not happy either, and I don't blame you
Well,
one bit.
but the program rolled out yesterday.
Yeah.
We have no idea how much we're going to get paid. We don't know what we're going to handle. We don't know if the equipment that we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on processing is going to be used. Our trucking, same thing. We're probably talking over $500,000 of equipment could potentially be sitting idle, and my banker still wants to get paid. And it's the same thing with grips. I've talked with Aaron Joe up at St. Louis Soils. The amount of confusion for you guys it's got to be incredibly frustrating. But from the handler's point of view, the program's already officially launched, and we're no farther ahead than we were a year ago.
Yeah, that's typical.
Yeah, so, and do keep in mind that for any of the conservationists that live in our community, and there's lots of them, there is zero incentive to make better packaging and products that factor in the conservation component. So there's no more recycled content going into packaging. More refill is not coming, and I see Wayne rolling his eyes, so I figured. But anyways, I appreciate the time for talking to you guys about this. It's scary, but it doesn't have to be that way, because at the end of the day, this is our town. And who we want to be in here and who we don't want to be in here, it's up to us. And I think these people need to be held accountable because they're not coming up with any answers to this day. I go farther ahead. All right?
Okay, thank you, buddy, and just stay tuned.
Boy, I had $1 every time I heard that. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Any inquiries with the exception of Buddy? If not at this point, then we'll move on to committee reports. 8.1.1